Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Charlie Pankey's here, Rick Now Podcast. Thank you so very much for joining us today. Hey, do you like the Pacific Crest Trail? Do you like just going on brand new adventures that maybe have never been done before? Today is the day for you. I am so excited to be kind of wrapping up the third part of our series with the Capital to Canada Quest Challenge here in Carson City that's going on this summer. And I have one of the lucky participants who are going to take on the 1,600-mile challenge from Carson City to Canada, Julianne Mahoney from Colorado. How are you doing today, Julianne?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us and taking time to kind of share your journey and what this is all going to be. We're kind of excited here locally to kind of hear about this quest and what you two young ladies are going to be taking on. So thanks for giving us time today.
Yeah, of course. I'm so excited. I'm just excited to
Yeah.
be a part of this.
Now you're in your home in Colorado now. I assume you've already started training for 1,600 miles. How do you mentally and physically prepare for a 1,600-mile quest?
So mentally, just getting used to being alone on trail. Honestly, I'm taking a couple just short trips. I am so used to backpacking recently with like friends or my dog. So it will be definitely an adjustment to be out there all alone. And then physically, I'm an ultra runner, so I
Oh,
actually
okay.
physically doing okay. I'm just doing my usual mountain biking, trail running, climbing, all the fun stuff that I get up to here in Durango. So a little bit
That's
easier
it.
on the physical side.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to that in just a second. I'm going to have some questions about your pack then. So, the Capital Canada Quest, we obviously here locally know in the Carson City was born, year and a year and a half ago in some thought patterns and this great new trail out of Carson City up to the Tahoe Rim Trail that is called Cap to Tahoe. And this whole process of getting selected and you saying yes, what was that like for you? I mean, was there a lot of thought ahead of time to go for it, or were you just like always just jacked about the opportunity for something new like this?
Um, so I mean, I saw the opportunity, and I was like, that is so cool. I can't believe that this is like something that's happening. And I actually didn't apply to it at first. So I was like, I'm not going to
Oh,
get selected. So I'm like,
okay.
why would I apply for it? But I saw it enough time. It just like kept on popping up on my feed on like Instagram, Facebook. And I had a couple people texted or tagged me in it. And I was just trying not to get my hopes up. I was like,
Okay.
whatever. I applied. So I applied and I was like, oh wow, this would be really cool. But I was trying not to let myself want it. So that I wouldn't be disappointed when I wasn't selected. So it all worked out for me, obviously, which is great.
Yep.
But yeah, as soon as I sent in my application, I was like, wow, this would be really cool. And when I got the call that I had gotten it, I was just like over the moon, so
Awesome.
stoked.
Have you been out to Tahoe or around the Tahoe region at all and hiking around this area?
Yeah, my best friend grew up at the base of Mount Rose, so I've
Oh,
gone out there twice, I think, with her. I'm not super familiar, but I've dipped my toe into that area, and I'm so excited to see more of it.
that's very cool. Now, you were originally planning to come with your dog, Indy. I understand there's some updates there. You want to give our readers a little update if they've read the press releases. We're excited about, Indy joining you. Want to give some updates there?
Yeah, I was so excited to have him with me because he was with me for half the Colorado Trail. And I made a mistake on that trail and forgot his boots and he burnt his paws and he had to get taken off. So I was like, okay, he's healed up. He's been running my ultra training with me. So he's like good for 25-mile days, killing it. But about a month ago, he was playing with his best friend Nemo. And he just got a little limp. I think he maybe a strained or maybe a slight tear in his back, like ACL.
Yep.
So he just has a little bit of a limp and it's doing so much better. But anytime we go more than like 10 miles, I notice he's a little stiff and a little limpy. And I want to make sure that he's my hiking buddy for the rest of his life. So
Yep.
he's sitting this one out, which breaks my heart. I'm so sad about it.
Yeah.
But
I
I
completely
think
get it.
it'll
My
be good
my
for him.
13-year-old lab right now is in physical therapy for her back
Yeah.
ACL for the same reason, for playing too hard. And there's a little heat laser they do now to help them heal faster, and she seems to like that once a week to get that pressure, but she's much older. Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
want to make sure. Yeah, he turns 5 next month, so I'm like, okay,
oh,
he's
great.
in it for the long run. Hopefully, lots of big backpacking trips ahead of us. But just even I'm in Southwest Colorado.
Hmm.
I'm like, if he needs to be taken off the trail, it's just so much more complicated. If I did bring him with me and then he needs
Yep.
to bail, just someone would have to drive about 20 hours to come get him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be a long trip. So
Yeah,
so
plan
you
it
really
safe.
will be going solo now. So you got to
Hmm.
get past that mental and kind of logistical, solo trip standard, right? Where you got to figure it out. If your trip, because your trip might actually be able to do some longer days now, right? If
Totally. Yeah. I
yeah. So
can move.
yeah.
He's only good for about 20, 25 miles a day. And he
Hmm.
needs, a lot, like a 0 a week versus when I'm
Yep.
on my own, I'm good for like 30, 35-mile days. And I usually only need like a 0 a month. Usually when I start to smell myself.
Now about 98% of our listeners just croaked over, going, "You're gonna go what? Yeah, that's a long day." But you must be moved. Are you would you consider yourself an ultralight backpacker then, since you kind of are used to that ultra environment?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. I was joking the other day that I'm ultra light on gear, ultra heavy on crafts. So I like to bring like
Okay.
watercolor with me. I have my film camera. I was thinking about bringing some like tarot cards or yeah. So I do bring some
I love it.
entertainment.
Who cares
But
about sleeping and stuff? But I'll bring all my
exactly. I'm
watercolors.
like yeah, the lightest tent I can carry so that I can, paint a little bit during my lunch breaks.
Hey, that's a beautiful hobby to have. I just
Yeah.
started journaling on my trails, so I think that's pretty cool. You know,
Yeah.
to do something unique like that. What are yeah, I guess I didn't think about the painting thing. What are you most excited to paint? I mean, if you're gonna be out there on this trail for 2 months, is there a spot or something that you're hoping to see that you sit down and enjoy?
Well, I have for my film camera, I'm most excited to hopefully capture some pictures of wildlife because I didn't really
Okay.
get. I maybe took a couple really cool pictures of moose on the Colorado Trail, but I'm excited to hopefully get some film photos of like bears would be awesome, or
Yeah,
maybe some snakes. Yeah, excited to see wildlife out there. And then painting, I kind of just let it happen whenever I have a moment. So I've painted sometimes it's like a shoe where like this is like
okay.
the inside of my tent and I just like have a moment to decompress. But it's just I have ADHD, so it's nice sometimes to just like have a hobby and to sit and be really mindful and like take something in. So hopefully some really good sunsets and yeah, good views in the mountains.
That's very, very cool. I was telling your other participant the other day, but you have a chance for kind of a fairy tale moment here in the Cap to Tahoe area. As you
Mhm.
get to the Mount Rose area, is a place called Chickadee Ridge. So if you just bring like a handful of bird seed, the chickadees will actually eat right out of the palm of your hand. You can have your
Whoa.
little Disney princess moment.
Oh
Now
my
you're going to
gosh.
be going so fast, you're going to have to keep your eyes out for them because they may not be that fast. But it is one of those moments you don't want to pass up here local, kind of a local
Totally.
legend place. And yeah, actually, that's if you go north. One of the questions I had for you, and I was bringing up this to the Carson City folks, is have you thought that you're definitely going to go up to Tahoe Rim Trail and go north, or have you thought about going south to Desolation Wilderness and picking up the wilderness while you're doing that trip?
Yeah, I'm still kind of figuring out the details of that. As of right now, I was planning on going north.
Yep.
But I do think it would be, yeah, we'll see. I think it would
It
be cool.
definitely add
I
about
just want to
40,
see
45
everything.
miles to your trip if you went south. So
Yeah.
it's an extra day at least.
Yeah.
On that, right? At least for you, it'd be 2 or 3 for me. But
Yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah. As you're heading, I was thinking wildlife. I grew up in Oregon in the Cascade Mountains and did some
Okay.
PCT there when I was a kid. So you got elk and they got wolves up there now. So you could
Yeah.
possibly pick up some elk and deer, obviously, when lots of raccoons and porcupines and stuff of that down there in the Cascades. Oregon, Washington, I haven't hiked too much, but I assume that's kind of all the same up there too. Here
I
in
hope
here in
so.
California, you're obviously going to have lots of chance for bear.
Yeah.
We have a wolf pack now, a little bit north up by
Oh,
Lassen
no.
area and stuff,
Okay.
and they've got some elk up there now too. So you have a chance to maybe spot something like that. I mean depending on how
Love
scared
it.
you are of that kind of stuff. But
Not
if you're an
very.
outdoor person, I'm sure you love it. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, they're all hard to see, but you have a chance. You're going to be quiet enough, so
Yeah.
that's a really cool experience. Has there like you're looking at the route into Oregon, Washington, Northern California? Are there any parts that you've highlighted going? I really can't wait to experience that. Like, is that a part of the trail that you're looking forward to most?
I am probably most excited. I've spent a decent amount of time in Oregon, I'd say.
Okay.
But Washington is like a whole foreign concept to me. I've been there once, I think. But I'm so excited to see the Cascade. Like
Yeah.
I'm so stoked. I've just heard so many magical moments in those
Yeah, that
mountains.
northern
And
Cascade section is
yeah,
it's a whole different ecosystem, right? So you're gonna
totally.
start here in the high desert of Carson City. You're
Yeah.
gonna get up in those pine trees pretty fast, and that's the one thing cool about where you guys are starting at. I thought about this route last year is that a lot of people talk about the PCT and they all look forward to the Eastern Sierra. You're going through the big,
Hmm.
huge granite, snow fields and everything. But once you get to Tahoe area, the trail takes on a different life. We still have granite. You're going to have plenty of granite on the way, but it's going to be forest covered up until you get to around Lassen. Then you get this big area where you got this open, no water zone, which is
Yeah.
everybody hates. But then you're going to be right back into these massive forest lands going into Oregon and stuff, which are going to be pretty cool. So you'll have these different ecosystems to cross through, which is, it got to be pretty unique, I would guess.
Yeah, and that's the best part about through hiking. It's like moving through these different environments. It's just like so ever changing and keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to just move through it all.
That's cool. So you being kind of an ultralight backpacker, what is like? Walk us through a gear thing. What's like in your world the most important gear and gear that maybe some of us would be carried along with it. You just like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the most important piece of gear that I have probably is like my inReach. So I'm like, that safety wise, being solo hiker, I do have a chronic illness. I have POTS, which is
Okay.
like a dysautonomia. So it's an issue with my central nervous system, and thankfully super manageable. But
Yeah.
just having my inReach keeps me happy, keeps my mom at ease, which is nice. But besides that, for the most part, like super bare bones. I am a gear maker. That's like my job. I run an outdoor
Oh,
gear company.
okay.
So I sewed my own backpack. So I have an ultralight pack that I made, and then I have smallest, lightest tent that I that I could get.
Great.
And then super like the R value on my sleeping pad is like 2.4 or something, so not super high, but does the trick. A
Yeah.
quilt. Right now, everything I have is from Nemo equipment, so it's like pretty
Okay.
ultralight.
Yep.
And then the smallest $7 stove that I bought when I was like 20.
Yep.
Yep.
It works.
Small little fuel canister. I do cold soak most of my meals.
Oh,
But it
okay.
is nice to have a little tea sometimes. So as of
Mhm.
right now, I'm bringing a stove. I think I'll keep up with that. But besides that, I really like I have bare bones first aid kit that's like this big
Mhm.
with like
Okay.
Luco tape basically and like Benadryl.
All right.
And
Very
that's
good.
about in a tiny toothbrush. So yeah, I don't bring any extra clothes or a pillow or anything like that. Just kind of wear my one outfit and make do with it.
And you just do change outs when you have those 0 days in the communities or whatever, and you take a break and you can switch out gear then
Yeah.
probably. Okay.
On the Colorado Trail, I swam often, so I was like, this is the same as taking a
Yep.
shower or doing laundry, like just
100%.
going for a river dip.
And you will definitely have that opportunity. Like I said, that one stretch between Lassen and the Trinity
Yeah,
Alps, I think, is the only area that doesn't have a lot of water, but the rest of the trip you're going to have water source the entire trip with this from this section, I would think. So
totally. And being alone,
absolutely.
I'm like, no one cares if I'm stinky, so
Yeah, no, no.
not
That brings
bothering
up a good
anyone.
point. You're going to be starting, late May, early June, something like that,
Mhm.
without giving dates away. So we usually Tahoe area we start to see PCT people come in about mid June through 4th of July. That's kind of the kind of peak time is 4th of July season. So you might be out in front of some of the people. You'll be out there with those like early hikers, I like to say. are you hoping to team up with people, or do you really kind of cherish the idea of, I really want to do a bunch of this by myself and just see how that experience goes?
Well, I would say I like hiking during the day mainly by myself, but I love camping with other people at night. That was like the big draw of the Colorado Trail. When I think back of
Hmm.
my favorite memories, yeah, times I had some magical moments alone and I do cherish those, but some of my favorite moments were with my friends, and I still talk to them 2 years later.
Yeah.
Like, I have this trail family that I love so dearly, and even if we only got to spend a couple days together, like, I think of them so often. So I am really excited. I was a little nervous about this.
Hmm.
I know Audrey is like, I mean, she's
Hmm.
on trail right now. She
Yeah,
started
she's on.
yesterday. She's gone. So she will have a group already. And
Mhm.
I know that she might be a little sad when she actually has to pop off trail because she might get behind her bubble.
Yep.
But I was a little nervous about starting in Carson City because I was like, everyone's gonna have friends already and no one's gonna
Yeah.
want to talk to me.
You're the
um,
stranger.
I'm the stranger,
Yeah.
but I do think I actually talked to a couple people that maybe like flip flopped it in the past years,
Oh,
and they're
okay.
like, we didn't have any problems like jumping right in. Sometimes people are sick of their trail family at that point and they're
Yeah,
ready
yeah,
for
yeah,
some
yeah.
fresh blood. So yeah, I am excited. I don't think that I'll link up with people for like all day, every day. I've had a couple
Yeah.
friends like meet people and they literally never separate for the rest of the trail, because I am really looking forward to moments alone, but I am excited to,
Yeah,
yeah,
we talk
meet some
we talk
friends.
about that even here, backpacking locally on a 3 to 4 day trip.
Hmm.
That your backpacking day trip is kind of your own. So take your
Totally.
time, hike it however you want to. You don't have to stay in a group, and we tend to spread out. And then night times again we're hooked up together or a specific location, which is cool to do and experience
Yeah.
together. I get that completely. So do you have a trail name from Colorado? Are you going to be creating a trail name for people to follow? I mean, how's that experience usually happen on trail?
Yeah, so I have a trail name. It was given to me by an ex-boyfriend, so we'll see if I can keep it.
Make time
But
for a new one, right?
yeah, might be time for a new one. Which I have a lot of friends that I met on the Colorado Trail that had done previous hikes, and they were like, "Oh, this is like my fourth or fifth trail name." Like, they are kind of an ever
Yep.
evolving thing. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get a new one. Right now, it's Alpine Glow for short.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, we'll see. I like that name. I think it's cute, but
Yep.
if something
Well,
if
it's
something comes along.
talking about cute. On your Instagram page, you are a self-proclaimed lollygagger, and call yourself the emotional granola cluster. I
Yeah.
just got to ask where that comes from, and tell me a little about your personality. 'Cause I thought that was just great definition. So,
Yeah, I it's actually been not an issue, but I think I've just noticed, thankfully in Durango, people are really chill and lovely here, but I think in a lot of mountain towns that there is like kind of this like macho race mindset. And I definitely experienced that a little bit on the Colorado Trail. Like, I noticed people have that. And I love to lollygag. I really
okay,
do. Like,
I love it.
I want to sit by a river. I am someone that I'm usually the first out of camp and the last one to get to camp. I'll like spend all day walking basically.
Hmm.
And because I love it, I want to like sit on a rock and watch the wind blow through grass for 10 minutes before I keep on going. Or yeah, if I
Awesome.
see a pretty flower, stop and draw it. So I love to lollygag. I am definitely definitely a
That's
lollygagger.
great.
And then yeah, emotional granola cluster is kind of my running joke. Is granola is like, outdoor crunchy person.
Yep.
um and yeah, most of my content that I make is like pretty emotional and vulnerable. Not always like super happy go lucky, but very
Okay.
authentic and real to what I am. I love to cry at a sunset and feel all my feelings. So yeah, a little bit of everything. I like to say I'm aggressively average in the outdoors. So
I
um,
love that. I
yeah.
love that. So let's circle back to Carson City here a little bit, and you were selected, one of or two of 350 some odd applicants to this. You're obviously going to have some press coming out in the region, and we got, like, for our example, our listeners are from every Los Angeles, San Francisco, Carson City, this whole area of the Sierra. Do you feel any extra pressure because you're the winner and you're gonna be the first to ever do this? And then two, is there anything like socially that you hope people will learn about you in following along this journey and how they want to follow along as you tackle this quest?
Yeah, I would say pressure wise, not a lot, but a little bit. This is my third interview today. I was like,
Oh, that's cool.
gosh, I'm not always the best at talking.
Yeah,
So that
you're
is
doing great.
just like a little interesting. I like didn't really think about that when I applied, that I would have to like probably talk to people and give interviews.
Yep.
So that is just like a little funny, but for the most part, I'm just really hoping to encourage people to like go out and hike. When I started hiking, like I would have never thought that I could do this. Even when I did the Colorado Trail, I like didn't really believe that I could do it. It just felt so intangible to me. So I hope especially like more women are just excited to get out there and realize that like you can hike in whatever way. I dress basically in all purple and wear big dangly earrings and skip down the trail, and you can like get outside in any way that you want to. So I think that's my big takeaway is sometimes through hiking especially can feel so impossible, and for people to realize that you can do it. We could all just like go outside moving slow or fast. Any way you need to.
What's your favorite thing to do on trail? Are you a peak person? Do you like a river? Do you like jumping in cold water because it's a lake no one's seen before? I mean, what's your kind of your thing to do in the outdoors?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly love everything.
Okay.
I do enjoy getting up on peaks often, but I would say my favorite thing is always an alpine lake. I hate the cold, but I will always go for a swim.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I one thing I always hear about like PCT hikers when they get these long days. You've got so many miles to cover that you can't really stop and enjoy everything, right? Some things you're just going to hike right by.
Yeah.
Does that worry you a little bit, being somebody who likes to sit and watch the grass blow? I mean, do you think, oh, I'm going to have to pass things up that I wouldn't pass up normally to do this long of hike in this shorter period of time?
Sometimes, because I've definitely experienced that, even just like day hiking sometimes in the San Juans, when I'm like, I want to sit here for 2 days. And I'm like, I can't stay here for 2 days. Like, that's just not, I don't have enough food to be here.
Yep.
So that is always a bummer. I think regardless of how much time you spend, it's never enough out there.
No.
But I am someone, I would say, that I love a long day. Like, I like to be up before the sun, and I will often get into camp when it's dark so that I get to spend as much time in places as I want to, which is nice. And you always have to move on before you're like fully satisfied. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of take it slow.
A couple years ago, my son challenged me because I'm that way too. And he bought me a hammock, and he's bought me a journal, and he's challenged me to at least once a day stop and hang my hammock middle of the day and just sit and enjoy the lake for an hour, take a nap, whatever, write a journal, and then take off again. And so I try to do that on especially longer days. And it really does help you kind of soak in the enjoyment of the trail, right?
Totally. Because sometimes walking is kind of addicting, especially when you're like really crushing miles and you get to be like, yeah, I did 35 today.
Exactly.
But also
35 is a lot.
Yeah. Like, oh, I sat at this lake for an hour. Like, that is also, I definitely have been kind of challenging myself to make sure that I really breathe it all in. That's what I'm out there for.
Yeah, I did the John Muir Trail, not the whole trail, but just a piece of it in Yosemite a few years back up Lyell Canyon, about 9 miles in. Nice. Hung the hammock along the river and took a nap. And when I woke up, there was literally a deer a couple 100 feet from me just sitting there and, eating the shore. Like, just got to sit in my hammock and watch him. And kind of one of those moments you're talking about. It's like, wouldn't have seen that if I would have just kept on going, which is pretty cool. But
totally.
I
had that happen on the Colorado Trail where I was going to wake up super early and I was like, let's just sleep in an hour. And I unzipped my tent in the morning and there was a whole bunch of moose just surrounding me. And I ended up having to sit there for like 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
Because I was surrounded on all sides. Like one of them literally stepped over the guy line of my tent. And I was like, okay. I was like, well,
That
this
is
is a
great.
little scary, but this is awesome. Yeah, and super, just like really lovely to be like, oh, I probably would have been like 15 miles in by the time I got to
Yep.
actually get out of my tent and pack it up. But it was
What
like
an
the most
experience.
magical morning on trail. Like, I'm never going to forget that. It was so
Absolutely.
lovely.
I
Yeah.
don't think you're going to see moose on this trip unless
No.
Washington has a hidden population of moose.
No,
Elk,
it's
maybe.
okay. We have plenty around here. So
Oh, very good. Very good. Well, you wouldn't believe it. We're already 25 minutes in. We only got a couple minutes left here. So I want to give a real quick chance for you to add any extra, like how do people follow you this summer? How do you plan on communicating? Anything you want people in Carson City to know about when you're going to come out? I know we can't give dates you're going to start. There's safety, something like that. But,
yeah.
Anything you want them to know there. And I have 3 questions for you before we leave that are kind of more personal on the trail.
Okay. So I'm on Instagram as Wild Jules with a Y instead of an I. And then I'm on TikTok and YouTube as Wild Jules, normal wild with an I.
Okay.
Yeah. So just a little, and Jules, Jules. But I'm planning on posting kind of across all platforms and on Substack, which is more like blog for inward.
Okay.
Just about the prep experience as well as getting on trail. So in the next couple months, I'll be posting about like my food plan and like the gear I have, my shakedown hikes that I'll be going on before I hit trail in
Great.
June. So you'll be able to find everything on there, as well as my like weekly video for Carson City and like all my other content that I'll make on trail. And then after I'm done, I should hopefully post some long form videos on YouTube about the hike as well.
Awesome. We'll go ahead. If you listen to us, we'll put those in the links in the description down below, her social channels. And Julie, if you want to send me your Substack link, I'll put that there as well too. They can follow you along. And if you're interested, I always follow a PCT hiker, at least one hiker throughout the year. I'm gonna follow both of you this year. It'd be kind of fun to see your experience and what that's like, what life is like, and what you learn on the trail. So looking forward to that. So, all right. So if you give me just a second here, I always have to do a little shout out to my sponsor on the show. We have a Visit Carson Valley here, our hometown, sponsors all of our podcasts. So give me just a quick second. Let them do a little live preview of our valley. Yeah, we're actually located literally right off the shoulder of Carson City, so I know exactly where you're starting at. It's our home community, that open space. Carson Valley is our home base for all of our adventures into the Sierra. So if you get a chance to come on down and take a look at it. So, all right, I have 3 questions I ask all my guests. They're all the same, always the same 3 questions. They're kind of fun. It's about you on the trail, about you and your life in the mountains, okay? So the first one is your bag is packed behind you. You and your pup are going to go out this weekend. Now, I usually say the Sierra. It's not really in your favor because you're in the Colorado market, but where are you going to go for an adventure that you haven't done before, and why are you going to go there?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Let's see. I'm like, where would I go? There's actually a lot of places near you guys that I would be so stoked. But I'm trying to remember the name of this hike. My best friend's from Reno, and she told me about this like crazy hike not that far away from her in the Sierras that's just like full of alpine lakes and rivers, and I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna have to message her and ask her. But it was
you're probably up like Gray Eagle. There's the Lost Sierra up there, and you got that's probably really good in springtime too. You'll be going really close there. You're actually going to go right over top of that on your trail in the PCT as you cross Sierra Buttes, and you'll be up above what was the big lake up there, Bear Lake and Long Lake. And matter of fact, I think you're going to go right over top of Long Lake. So that's a beautiful area up there. I bet you that's where she's talking about out of Reno.
Yeah,
just about
probably.
An hour north. So,
she talked to me about it like 2 years ago, and I should have stored that away. But
no, that's a good choice. Yeah, that's a great choice to go. I get up there a couple times a year, so that's a perfect choice. All right. Well, after I come off trail, I'm not an ultra runner. I'm kind of a food guy. I love cheeseburgers and French fries and milkshakes after a long day hiking, and I'm only going 14 to 15 miles a day. What is your like go-to food for after a long exciting day on the trail?
Um, Definitely ice cream. I am
Ice
vegan,
cream.
unfortunately, super
Okay.
lactose intolerant, but the whole Colorado, we have a local ice cream shop here called Cream Bean, and the whole Colorado Trail, I was like, I am just getting to Cream Bean. They have the
I
best vegan
love
ice
it.
cream I've ever had in my life.
Hey,
Um,
vegan ice cream and vegan cheesecake are excellent.
so good.
They're so good.
Yeah, when they're made with like
And I'm not
cashew
vegan.
milk or coconut milk, so creamy. So yeah, definitely I love some ice cream. Even like a fruit popsicle, something just like
Sure.
cold and refreshing.
Yeah. I've heard some crazy trail stories of long distance hikers and some of the things they carry for, energy bites. Is there anything on these long trails that you're going like, I can't wait to get to camp and eat this like spoonful of peanut butter? Is there either one of those things that you just like, that's my trail, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely bring peanut butter with me. I also bring, I think they're called Cocoa Mells, but they're like dairy free caramels that are covered in chocolate with sea
Oh.
salt on top, and
Oh,
they're
yum.
so good. And that is like I get to trail. Like I either have that when I set up my tent, or I make miso, like a hot miso soup, because nice and I just love salt.
I
So
like it.
those
I
are
like
my
it.
like
Well,
go
salt,
to.
yeah, obviously you're doing 30 miles a day. Salt being at the
I
premium, I'm
need the
sure.
salt. Need the
I'm sure.
electrolytes.
All right. Well, very good. This is going to be interesting. Last question is going to be interesting because you like to make your own gear. So we're all gearheads in some type
Mhm.
of way, right? What is the one piece of gear you just don't leave home without?
My dog.
Ah, that's a good
I'm
one. I
leaving him
love
this
it.
time, but
Yeah, you're leaving this time. Okay.
yeah. I this will be my first time backpacking without him, really. But yeah, I'd leave my tent at home. I'd sleep on the ground. Bring
Okay. Very
Iggy with
good.
me.
I have
I know
lots
he's
of
not
friends that
geared,
backpack
but
with no
he's my
tents.
pal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet. The no tent backpacking thing. I'm a hammock. I'm a hammock camper, so I take
Okay.
my hammock everywhere and sleep in it. But which I guess maybe is a little bit off the ground. But I've never done just
I
cowboy
love
camped
a
out
good
there.
cowboy camp, especially
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the basically the desert here. Like I'm on
Yep.
the border of the San Juans in the desert, so it is really
Yep.
nice. But we don't have that many bugs here, which is
Yep.
lovely. I know that will not be the case in Oregon this summer.
Definitely
But
gonna have
yeah,
mosquitoes in
cowboy
Oregon.
camping, yeah, super lovely to just like wake up in the middle of the night to the stars above you. Is a
Hmm.
little scary in terms of like animals and wildlife, but it's still super magical to like just open your eyes and be outside.
That's cool. That's really cool. Well, I can tell by your enthusiasm, it's just going to be fun to follow you this summer. Wishing you the absolute best in conquering this thing and just, putting it on your bucket list of quests you accomplished. Sorry your dog can't go. I think that's pretty understandable. That'd be sad. But we are rooting for you. I hope you have a great trip. If you guys are out here when you guys get kicked off, I'm hoping to be part of the media team to come out and cover you a little bit. But other
Awesome.
than that, thank you so much for being a guest with us today, and we just wish you the best on this trip.
Thank you so
If
much
you're
for having me.
Absolutely, and if you're a listener today and you're following along, please like and share and send this out to your friends. Let people know about these two ladies that are taking this trip. It's capital to Canada. It's out of Carson City. It's brand new quest this year, and so we're really excited to see what they do with this program and how these ladies kind of conquer it and share the news along the way. So, thank you for joining us today. Be blessed wherever you're at. I hope the Sierra is in your future.